and what's happening in India. I think they have a comparative advantage in building the models. We have comparative advantage in creating data because we have lots of people, so lots of behavior to go and capture. Does that even make sense?
That totally makes sense on a high level when you look at, they have ahead to the current innovation of knowledge. And we can create a lot of data. That's what we are doing. From my company, if you look at it, we are forward in creating the data. Only our tool which creates the data earns a couple of hundreds of millions of dollars for another license. Just creating data out of it. You're right. You're right. And the point you asked, should I sleep for a couple of years and then enjoy? And they said, I think the understanding is what the industry is trying to do. They're trying to take a leap to the first floor. Okay. And we are jumping, hitting the block and falling down, getting hurt, because the investment and everything is going well. If we calm down, take a step at a time, it's a few seconds we can. What I mean to say is, industry is thinking high towards where they are not. In India, what we have to do is, since we have the data, we need to look at the ground, not at the sky. Elon Musk is looking at the sky, we need to look at the ground. Think of the innovation which affects the common human. It's not only how idealistic, perfect is the innovation, how adaptable is the innovation is also important. Gradually take a step at a time with our advantage of the data and reach there very seamlessly. I think that will make us more prominent and more democratized and harmonized way of innovating over here. Adaptability and the data, I think, is more adaptable.
Okay. Let me come to you too. And so people liken this to the .com. A lot of these people say, look, in .com we saw there was a big hype. Even a company that was selling fish renamed themselves Fish.com just to get higher valuation. And the same thing is happening with AI. And a lot of people remember .com as a bust. I actually remember .com as a success because there was a bust, but what survived was incredible. I think we got Netflix, we got Amazon, we got all kinds of great things that survived. Do you guys think something similar is likely to happen with AI? That we have these thousands of experiments and most of them are going to fail, or at least fail in the sense of an economic sense, but the few that survive are going to be mind-boggling.
I think we are already seeing signs of that, right? OpenAI is what, 500 billion and largest private company value at the moment, and that's only because of AI. So I think we are already seeing that happen. Right?
But do you think OpenAI is a bubble or not? That's my question.
AI, at the moment, there are too many companies which are a bubble. We are already seeing so many drop-offs happening from even highly valued companies like Cursor and Lovable and all, where there's the spike and where there's a spike and then there's a drop. But then there's the companies which are going to harness AI and slowly grow, which will eventually be very large. But of course, OpenAI is more foundational, so that will stay for a long time. That's what I think. I don't know.
And Puneet, if Sam Altman was to come and say, I want you to invest in OpenAI, would you say yes or no?
Somebody, I think it was JB only, but I think somebody had asked me this sometime back, where there was an opportunity for Indian investors to invest in OpenAI. And I said, you'll die 4 times, you'll be reborn 4 times, you'll never get your money back. And he calls us hopeless anyway, right? So I really don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
Not for me.
So somebody said a wrapper, somebody said a use case. So Anand, you have this idea, and I've thought about it before also, that there's sort of 2 ways of making money. And I'm telling you guys, as a gents, how to make money. But let me give it a shot. One is just be efficient, and that requires scale. Very simple. If you have scale, you have efficiency. On the scale thing, we are likely to lose out on the deep tech side, but we will survive on the data side, it seems to me. But the second way to make money is to have information, some kind of a monopoly. So you deal a lot with personalization. And to me, personalization is kind of like a monopoly of sorts. That if you personalize, people are willing to pay a little bit more that cannot be competed away. Do you think that's what AI should be doing? We should be looking for these niches where we personalize the use cases so that people are willing to pay a little rather than a generalized chat GPT or something for which nobody wants to pay anything.
I think, so the market exists for both, like, the super vertical AI as well as the horizontal one, right, which is more broad-based. So ChatGPT obviously is, you can ask it any question under the earth. But if you say, like, what color t-shirt or a shirt would suit me, it would not know you like that, like, because it doesn't know what size of the clothes you wear and all those things. It does not even know on an e-commerce site what does the catalog look like, right? So what we are working on when I say personalization is, let's say there's a retailer, and a retailer would have, like, I don't know, 50,000 items in their catalog and 1 million users. Like, which of the items is the right product, like, for a particular audience? And given an audience, like, what would you sell them? So the shopkeeper instantly knows if you walk into their shop, like, if you walk into a Zodiac or one of the showrooms, like, US Polo, just by looking at you, they would know kind of what kind of price point, what kind of, color, material, etc. would suit you and all that, right? It doesn't happen online. So it is a matching problem, right? How do you know, like, the person who just showed up on your website, what is the right product for them? What is the right coupon, discount, offer, whatever it is, like, points for them? What is the right creative and copy that should go along with it? And finally, like, what's the right workflow? Do you send them a message on WhatsApp? Do you send them an email? Do you pop something on the website, and so on and so forth? So the personalization bit is, like, currently marketing is done as a targeted, like, take a group of people and decide one day, like, to them, I will send them, like, this product because I have excess inventory with me, or maybe that's a hottest selling product. So, for the rest of the people also, I will send the same product. But true personalization, what we call as one-on-one personalization, is giving them the product that will work for them. And that it involves, like, a lot of...
And they are willing to pay more than a competitive
exactly.
price. So a T-shirt without personalization has to sell at a competitive price. But as soon as you put a monogram on it, you can charge them a little, but that little is where the money is, right?
Yeah, I mean, people pay a lot of money for logos, like, whether it's on watches or clothes or shoes or whatever, right? But if you are able to figure out the right product for a person, the propensity to pay, like, what's the likelihood? Is it a 2,000 rupee product? Is it a 5,000? Is it 20,000 rupee product? What is the right offer? And what is the right time? Like, these are the right things that you should, if you sequence this right, like, this person will most likely buy it, right? You end up using a lot of prediction capabilities. You end up using a lot of Gen AI stuff to figure out, what's the right creative and copy that I should, for the same product, like, what is the model I should put? What is the email I should write, and so on and so forth. What is the emotion attached with that? Is it FOMO? Is it surprise? Is it joy? Is it trust? And then you match it, and then you try it. So the whole thing works like a machine. Like, if you send something and they did not respond to it, that also becomes an input signal into the algorithm.
Yeah.
And this happens. So this is vertical AI. Like, this is verticalizing it for a retailer, which ChatGPT is just not different. I mean, now you realize it's very, very different, right? It is not doing a matching problem. It is just asking. If you ask who's the president of the US, it will give you like the right answer, right? Most
and
times.
with lending, Deepak, it's the same problem, isn't it? I mean, you're trying to get models. You're not trying to do the generalized model. You're trying to find out whether this particular borrower is likely to default or not. So that's really, again, a personalization problem. And that's where the models have to be good at.
So the way I see this is when there is a, like, at micro customer level, if you need customization, that's when humans can do a much better job than the machines, if you need at one customer level. However, the moment it's at cohort level, see what most of the models which we have created using machine learning is something we call multivariate models, where basis multiple variables, you will decide that, okay, this cohort looks homogeneous on certain characteristics, and basis that, this is more risky, so avoid. This is medium risky, price it, and this is least risky, you can just make it a green channel. So that's what models do for you, or that's what machines can do for you. when there is a very, very high level of customization required, whether be it in lending, in investment management, or investing, etc. When, to the T that, okay, how does Bhagwan want to invest? If I have to go to that level of customization, I don't think so machines are yet ready to do that level of customizations for us.
I think you're giving too much credit to humans. We think we can do this, but a lot of the times we are disillusioned. But when it comes to the models you are doing, Ronak, with data from machines, is there a bit of that as well? What is specific to this machine and what is specific to this cluster of machines? And are those predictions more useful?
Yeah, it's not just the machines, but also the people who are
People
getting
who are
the-
working on it.
Yeah, it's because some people like to have information much more in advance so that they plan better. Some people just want it right when they need to take action. So that personalization can also be done when you fine tune certain AI models based on personal preferences, right? So how much in advance do you want to tell somebody something? And the accuracy of what you're telling them is also based on machine types or equipment clusters or types of industry segment that you work in. So yes, there's a lot of verticalization of the AI that we work on.
Can I go to the audience for questions? So what I do is I'll go to the audience and I have the right to reframe your question because that may be the same thing I wanted to ask. And there are two rules about asking questions. The first rule is your first statement should end in a question mark. Clear about that? Right? No statements. When I was young, we'll do that some other time. And there should be no second statement. We want to just move it fast along. So please raise your hand and ask any one of the, yes, please.
This question is for you. Has India lost the AI race because in the same way we've just become an outsourcing country, KPO, GCC, all of that, but there is no DeepSeek or OpenAI coming out of India? This question is for you.
No, I don't think we have lost the race. I think it's the different type of products we have to build. I think we will not build, in my opinion, and maybe I'll let you take a shot at it. I don't think we will build the GPT 6 or 7, but I think we will use a version of model that can be tested on 1 billion people. I think we have that advantage. So go ahead.
Yeah. The point of innovation is we should not follow, we should lead. DeepSeek is done. We should not look for another DeepSeek out of India. Mostly, fortunately, unfortunately, our DNA was to invent, but gradually, because of our history, we started following for a rapid growth and easy money. Now I say India is working on some things, especially our organization, if you look at, better than DeepSeek. Okay, there's several areas of innovation. I say AI is not even 2% to its potential today. Not even 2%. And DeepSeek is one such innovation which had a good start, but it is not adapted to a greater extent. They are still experimenting with it. And there are many innovations, like for example, one such is the AI command center we are working on. An intelligent command center which can solve the sustainability and viability of AI and take it to the edge. In one statement, if I have to say, you look at a SEO summit, there was a humanoid at the reception, am I right? Everybody wowed it. When I observed it, I found a lot of issues with that. In India, the several companies and West is looking at us. We are forming a team, expert team, is a global, multi-country expert team, led from India to really solve this problem, where next time you see a humanoid, it will be much more, far better. That much I can say.
Okay. Health is an example, for example. The data that will come out based on health, since we have large numbers, we may be able to come up with health models that are superior. So it's a guess. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Can you please give him a microphone, please? Or do we have a microphone? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. So my question is to the investors on the panel. startup which is deeply into deep tech, where the revenues are expected, I mean, I do not know, 3, 4, 5 years. How do the venture capitalists and the investors look, on one side, we want revenue model, we want revenue, not in forget model, we want revenue, okay. And on the other hand, we are wanting to have a AI startups with deep tech, of course, where the gestation period and the revenue starts flowing in after maybe 4, 5 years. So how do you evaluate such startups and what is your take on that?
Okay, how do you evaluate companies that will take 10 years to show break even?
I'll try keeping it a little civil. So it's more you bet on the jockey and not on the horse. If it is going to be, where you see revenue 10 years later, it has to fit from a venture capital investor's perspective. It has to fit in your portfolio mix. So in a typical venture capitalist portfolio, you will have one or two which will give you 50x, 100x or so. You will have some which will give you 4x, 5x also. And then there'll be some in that spectrum in the middle. So if you don't have any other meaningful opportunity and you have a lot of conviction in what they're doing, then as one bet out of 100 may be worth it. But your return expectation there, and most importantly, the founder's expectation on your money also has to be aligned. That's actually where a lot of friction happens on return expectation.
Okay.
But otherwise, just bet on the job.
I'll add something to it. I think this is what we
Professor,
teach in...
Can I just add a point?
Yeah.
See, the business, 2 points. The best national awarded movie flops on the box office. Okay, you have to make money. Business is all about sustaining and making money. Painkillers sell better without much, effort than multivitamins. So find out those use cases in AI if you really want to do a startup where you can sell a painkiller immediately, fast. Then you can gradually improve on rather than trying to be idealistic. That's the just thought process.
Okay. So my finance answer is this, that if it's going to take 10 or 15 years to mature, doesn't mean that every investor has to have that horizon, because it's a relay race, right? I'll hold it for 2 years, hoping that somebody else will take the baton and take to the next and so on. So that's how, otherwise Amazons of the world would have never existed. So and that's where I think the ecosystem is important. It's not important to have only angels. We need people in the middle, we need VC, so we need a whole layer so that you can run this marathon. That's my finance answer for that. But that doesn't mean it's easy. I want to acknowledge that. Any other question? Any other thoughts? No other thoughts? I have lots of questions. Yeah, you have a question.
AI is very new to me, and I'm an old school, so most of the things I don't even understand. Everyone is using ChatGPT. There is a lot of content, there is a lot of algorithms which come and they influence your thought process. So my question was that what is the social impact it will have on human being? What is the mental impact it's going to have, and where will it lead us to?
Okay. Predicting the future is very hard. Even predicting the past is hard. We are never sure of even the history, let alone the future. So I'll let these guys take a crack at it.
So machines have an amazing thing. They make you faster, but they make you slower. So when calculators came in, your work became faster, but your ability to calculate using your brains became slower. So that's what.
But not for gents. तुमको तो अभी भी 1.5 का पहाड़ा आता होगा.
No, not to me. Like
Okay.
Honestly, so what my father could do, that 1.5 ka pahada, I can't.
Okay.
And that's where machines. So we had calculators. Our kids had Excel, and the younger ones now have GPTs. So things will become slower for sure in their mental capacity, but their lives will become much faster, and that's about to happen. A lot of things which we learned are not relevant anymore, because you can just Google it, or you can just perplexity it now, and so on and so forth. So it's a mixed answer for me. It'll make you faster as a person, far more efficient, but your mental ability, because that part of the brain which you're not using anymore will become useless or irrelevant.
Can I add a point? Sir, I have got a different perspective altogether. See, I was been told, long back, I did not understand, when I was my grandfather, knowledge is not about knowing everything. It is knowing what you know, what you don't know with clarity. We lost that and started mugging up things, remembering things. That is how our educational system, industry wanted us to be. And we became less of a human, more of XYZ. Now the innovation like AI, like ChatGPT, if you're talking about, is helping us to become back as a human. We start thinking as a human. Now ChatGPT has all the information and knowledge. But how do you ask it? What do you ask it? How do you assess what it responds? And make it deliver what you want. Still, I have a job. I have a team, big team. Okay, my program director is here. Still, they come to me daily 10 times. Okay, they also have ChatGPT. His team comes to him. So how you ask, how you get the output, how you assess the output. So we have to learn trying to be more human, understanding. Like for example, you have a stories like Jadoo Ka Deepak 10 wishes. People get confused what to ask. We had all the stories and movies. This is a bigger and critical task we have to do now. And it's good. AI is making us humans, not machine. That's the point.
I think your question is a very deep one, I think, because this demarcation as, intelligence and artificial intelligence is artificial in some sense. I think they are both intelligence. So I think this is intelligent, but so is this. But do you know the difference between this and this? Anybody know the difference between this intelligence and this intelligence? Okay, but at a scientific level, this is silicon-based, and this is carbon-based. And there's a big difference between carbon and silicon. The silicon-based is very fragile. If I drop it, it'll be okay. If you drop me, probably I'll survive. I think slow, I have wisdom, this is fast computation, but I think we are going to reach a stage where we are going to need both. So the carbon has already adopted silicon, and now Elon Musk is trying to put silicon in my head too. So I think soon we will become this mega intelligent people because both are together. So that is sort of my answer to you about where we are going to go with this. Any other thoughts? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Firstly, the conversation was so enlightening. I actually wanted to add on to this point that we feel that AI makes us slow or fast. The answer is very subjective because for me, I think AI is a blessing in disguise. Earlier, it used to take like hours and hours to study, but now it is like I sit with my professor every time. I have long conversations with ChatGPT, and it made my life really, really easy. But my question for this panel is, if you were my age, like 20 right now, how do you use this, the only blessing I have, time, to use it for your benefit, like a competitive edge?
A 20-year-old is asking 40-plus-year-old people how he should use his time, okay? It's not a good idea. Never ask old people. Ask young people. But let's give it a shot, yeah. Anybody has any thoughts?
So just to understand your question, you are saying that using ChatGPT, how do you compete with others when everybody is doing? Is that your question? Somewhat like this? Okay. See, ChatGPT is AI. It's very simple. I come with a different thought process because when AI is doing everything, we need to do something which AI doesn't do. 3 things AI doesn't do, where you can excel to compete. Common sense. AI can never, to an extent. Okay? Second is emotions. In Rajnikant's Robo movie also, lightning has to fall on Chitti to become emotional. Last thing, difficult thing is ignorance. These are the three jewels of human life. Understand, every innovation in this industry is around humans. If an innovation replaces humans, innovation becomes zero. Because innovation has to be there to support human life, not to reveal them all. Humans cannot be taken. Everything is for human beings. Banking, automation, automobiles, space, and everything. So you have to focus on these three things. With ChatGPT, focus on the rest of the knowledge and information to shape it around for what you want and complete. That is how you have to do it.
Okay, I'll give you a shorter answer. Use silicon for data and use carbon for wisdom. This is lots of data. This is with little data you can make inferences, and I think to me that is probably the key. So number one thing you can do as a 20-year-old is to stay curious. Don't say I'm going to become a dentist. Don't say I'm going to become a chartered accountant. Don't say I'm going to become be curious about anything and everything. And I think that's what you need to do, because other things, you can use this to figure it out. So in 10 years, if you stay curious, you will be ahead of most other people. That's my opinion. Let me see if there are any other questions before we do a follow-up. Okay, since we are reaching a follow-up, it probably means we are coming to the end of the session. So we will end with your follow-up question. Yeah.
The three essential elements that we as human beings have and AI can't. I explain this to my clients. I actually run an AI automation agency. And their answer is the ChatGPT models are trained on Reddit data, which already has emotional intelligence. So in some way, AI also has emotional and other. How do I explain them that we are still better?
Okay.
I think Reddit has gossip, and I think there is some credit we have to give to gossip. Gossip has had a huge influence on humanity, and I think it's a very useful influence. So what these tools are allowing us to do is, we used to gossip in a village, in a little circle. We used to gossip with 15, 20 people. This is allowing you to gossip with millions of people at the same time. It's like listening to a chat, it's listening to a chat from many, many. But I still won't go as far as to say that you're getting emotions from there. Any other thoughts here about what he said?
See, the point is, just understand, there's a library. Whole of the knowledge is available in the library. Let us say a person has by hearted and understood and remembered the library. Your ChatGPT is like this. But how do you implement it for your client is the point. There's a lot of AI apps, number one. Economy at scale. If you deploy ChatGPT, in a small, hello world example, it may work economically viable. Okay, big companies, small companies, for example, I'm giving you a different examples. They give sweet boxes and gifts during Diwali. Big companies, I don't want to name, lakhs of employees, doesn't even give chocolate during Diwalis because that sums up to hundreds of crores of rupees. Okay, so you understand when you go at a scale, the economy of scale do not really, work out there. So you have to tell your client, with these models, which are giants, can do anything. You don't want anything. What is your thing? You're a doctor. What is your, thing? I'm just asking. Your client is a doctor. What is his requirement? Understand. You say, with this, with a minimalistic thing, how I can get that knowledge to work in a scale of economy and cut down your cost and response time by hundreds or 200s of times. That is where you have to position yourself when these base models are there. And understand, always getting the data and training is not possible, I'm telling you, because they have learned, they are in billions and trillions of parameters. How do you do? How do you hallucinate? You don't understand. Making it transparent, explainability factor, confidence level, and a continuous life cycle, that is where it can help.
So I'm going to ask you one last question to each one of you. Of course, everyone is saying you have to do AI, you have to do AI, you have to incorporate it, you have to adopt it. Tell me one AI thing you will tell people not to do, not to invest, not to buy that AI product, not to use that AI capability. Can we start with you, Puneet?
It's something I tell our team. So we've got a bunch of people who are 22 to 32 also, and the only thing I tell them to not use it for is research. Not use it for research.
Research, okay.
I think when we look at comparables, when we look at public markets, to find out what should be the right number and multiple, because what happens is that sometimes the information can be a little inaccurate, but the result of that inaccuracy can actually be very large.
Okay.
And hence, I keep telling them, they don't listen, but I keep telling them to not use, AI or ChatGPT or any such
For
solution.
numbers, especially for numbers.
Yeah, especially
so
for
you're worried
numbers.
about the hallucination, even
Absolutely,
a little one.
absolutely. That's one part. But what we tell them or what we use it for, I think most of us do, is to record meetings. I think that's the most common use case, so that we remember also sometimes.
Or to write reports that nobody reads.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ronak?
Yeah, so since we work with manufacturing operations, if you give a wrong prediction or don't give the right prediction, it results in a catastrophe. So absolutely no direct AI. We have a human in the loop with our own team assessing the accuracy of the AI before we do it. So AI is great at writing a poem, but AI is not great at, very high accuracy fault finding in specific
I would have
applications.
never thought we would say that computers are good at writing poems but not doing in numbers. This is amazing. This is amazing. Yeah.
So, Professor, let me compliment. This is a wonderful, critical question you asked. When we are looking at day and night where to position AI, now where not to position AI is a good question. By the way, I think anywhere AI can be fine-tuned and put in, but one area of judgments related to humans, AI should never be used. It's only
Like whom to marry. Should I use AI for that?
Answer. I was about to tell that 20-year-old, don't use AI for finding a wife.
Okay. So I'll go to Anand and you think about your answer, okay? So that
now you have to
more.
think of another one.
So
That's
let's skip Deepak and go to Anand so that he can think about another answer.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think anywhere where you need, where sometimes things get escalated, like say customer complains, customer might be happy chatting to her with the chat bot, and then they kind of, say, what the hell is going on here? I think that point, you don't need more AI. You probably need a human. I think we are emotional. We sometimes over-index, on a escalation, customer escalation, or something like that. I think if you put AI, which is slightly more kind of cut and dry, it might backfire, right? And you need to be like that. You have to serve your customers with empathy. So try and not put AI in that. Don't try to skimp on
I
cost.
think empathy is a great word. I think for empathy, the AI is still not there. Yeah. Even though it empathizes with you all the time, but it's lying like crazy, Yeah, okay. So Deepak,
I
you
have
get
a
the
very
final word.
Yeah. So there are a lot of founders here. I see a lot of founders using AI for creating their storyboards. I am a founder who's raised a lot of money from investors, and I also invest in a lot of younger companies. I see that people use AI to write their storyboards. I think you should avoid that completely. Your storytelling or your explaining your vision is very, very unique. AI can never do that. You have to, the investor has to relate to your story that, okay, why you're creating this, what's your passion in creating this, and why you will excel in next 5 to 10 years in creating what you want to create. AI can never do that, justice to that. So to me, avoid doing that.
So tell your own story and marry based on the stories she or he is telling you. So thank you all very much. A great session. We will go to the next session now. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Please give a big round of applause to our panelists.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the audience. I would request a huge round of applause from all the audience part. We had a very fascinating evening today with all of our speakers. I would request few of our honorary members to please felicitate all the speakers here. So the very first, I would request our chairman, JIIF Chairman, Mr. Jinendra Bhandari, to felicitate Mr. Anand Jain, the co-founder of CleverTap. In the felicitation ceremony, I have a request that the thunder of your clap shouldn't stop. So it should be a continuous roll. Please. आपकी तालियां रुकनी नहीं चाहिए, बजती रहनी चाहिए. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anand ji, for joining us today. Next, I would request the Vice Chairman of JITO Incubation Center, Mr. Sanjay ji, to please felicitate Mr. Deepak ji, the co-founder of Flexi Loans. Deepak ji is also part of our own family. He is the Vice Chairman of JITO Angel Network, but then today he represented as co-founder of Flexi Loans. Thank you very much. I made a request, the clapping shouldn't stop, please. Thank you. After that, I would request Mr. Ravi G. Jain Burad from Jaipur, the Vice Chairman of JITO Shark Angels, to felicitate Tirupati Rao Dokara, the founder who joined us today from Hyderabad. Thank you. Thank you very much for your amazing knowledge on AI part. Next, I would request Rajesh G. Jain to felicitate Ronak Bhinge, the Director of Infinite Uptime. He is our ex-DIC Director in charge of JIIF. Thank you very much, Rajesh Ji and Ronak Ji, for joining us today. Guys, please, let the energy be in the hall. Thank you very much. After that, I would request Abhik Singhvi, TNAPTS Zone JIIF Convener, to please come up on the stage and felicitate Punit Shah, Managing Partner, Alteria Capital. So out of the six panel, 4 people traveled from Mumbai, came to Hyderabad to express their feelings about AI. So kindly please support them. Thank you very much. Thank you, Punit, for joining us today. And the most energetic moderator for today's session. Please, I told energetic. Yes, energy should be there in your clappings. So I would request Zareen Ranka, the Hyderabad chapter zone convener, Hyderabad chapter JIIF convener, to felicitate Mr. Bhagwanji Chaudhary here. Felicitation hasn't been done yet. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. A final clapping to all the speakers, all the one moderator, the team members, and to all of the audience who have been here joining us for the panel session. Hope we will see you tomorrow for the next JIIF event, which is Pitch 30. And after that, we have 2 more events tomorrow, 2 panel sessions. So we would request everyone to please join us tomorrow for another JIIF panels. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jai Jinendra. Working dinner. So the ISB family has invited JIIF to be a part of their event today evening in the ISB campus, Hyderabad. So all the JIIF members who haven't registered or who haven't intimated their registrations for today's dinner, kindly please connect with Karan Shah, the operations head of our JIIF, and we'll be having a ISB networking dinner today in the evening part. Thank you.